MEU amphibious ready group led by the USS amphibious assault ship has just entered the North Sea. News reports from the Al Arabiya English channel shows that the Netherlands is sending fighter jets to Bulgaria. Now, we have a couple of questions from viewers on our channel here, and I really want to get some of these because they are great things that could save each one of our lives. Jade says, question, can you tell us how to defend against airstrikes and where to hide? What structures are safe? How to eat after fallout? Storm had a great answer. Jade, if you live in the US, you may be able to get information from your local emergency management department. They should be listed in your phone book or online. You may also be able to locate civil defense shelters in your community. Although they were abandoned many years ago, the buildings are likely still operational. If you do find yourself having to evacuate a community shelter, bring your own provisions and be on guard against victimization from predators. Great response there. Mary Beth Field says, we have been stockpiling for some time. Now, what I want to know is what are some of the worst foods to stockpile and what are some of the best? Myself and my husband want to thank you for your channel. Much love to you and your family. So for me, it's stockpiling the things that you are eating every single day. If you're not eating them right now, you don't want 6 months, you don't want 8 months worth of that food. So if you're eating chicken and rice, if you're eating canned tomatoes and making your own pasta sauce, if you're making your own pizza and you're using your own flour, stockpile those things. But what you don't want is a whole bunch of ramen and a person around you has a sodium problem, and because of their sodium issue, they aren't able to eat, or it makes them sick because of what they're eating. This is from Ninja, Ninja. This is where camping comes into play. If I had a system, they say, or if I had a position of Central Florida, what bare essentials should I bring given that I intend driving to the Rocky Mountains? Pam Anderson had a great reply there. It says water filtration, a tent for camping, sleeping bags, and at least one full set of quality footwear. Outdoor wear, including your jackets, multiple ways to heat water, food. Make sure that you're able to cook your food, get your fire started. Water containers, freeze-dried food. Just add water, easy meals. Mary Edheim says that in addition, I would add security tools and gas. This is a long trip. And even last year, during the ice storm in February, gas stations were closed or out of gas. So what would you need to bring with? What bare essentials? That was pretty well covered. You need to be able to build your shelter. You need to be able to start your fire. You need to be able to cook your food and make your water safe to drink and secure your position. If you can do all of those things, you are in a great position to survive. Law of the minimum says, question, how do I efficiently put away a small Berkey filter setup that I'm not using? Will the elements keep from deteriorating in storage? I have a larger one now. So we ran into the same problem. We used a Berkey for a good amount of time, and then we upgraded and said, you know what, let's just put this one away. This was before we knew better. This was years ago. And we ended up putting it away in storage, and what happens is the sediment really packs in there to the black filters, and it made them pretty much unusable. We soaked them for like 8 hours. We soaked them for 12 hours. We soaked them in some vinegar. It just didn't open back up to the capacity that we wanted. So if you're going to put Berkey filters away, of course the container, the gravity container itself is going to be fine. It's just stainless steel. But the filters, once you've used them, I haven't found a great way to put them away. Maybe someone in the comments has a great way to put them away. But what you can do is make sure you store backup black filters. That's what I'm doing, and I have those for if mine accidentally freezes, if one accidentally breaks, no matter what it is, I have something on backup. Joan O'Brien says, I have no money, but I have credit cards to buy food. What do you think? If you're asking if I think that you should buy your prep food or just your weekly food on groceries, it's a terrible position. I'm sorry that you find yourself in that position. What I would do instead is try to locate food resources, locate churches, locate things like that will help out. And if you can help out and get a little bit of extra food, then you're in a great position. Pick up just a couple of hours somewhere, or do a little bit of handiwork for somebody, or babysit or cat sit or whatever it might be to get a little bit of extra money. Remember, 80,000 calories comes in a 50-pound bag of rice at Sam's Club for $20. Almost everybody can find a way to do that, given the time and the resources. Whether it's something that they can sell they no longer use, babysitting, cat sitting, house sitting, yard work, side work, day work, gigs, whatever it could be, you can find a way to make that $20 to buy that food. Renee Meyer says, Brad, I wanted to share something that I did last year that relates to one of the questions that you read. The person that was talking about pain. I have chronic pain as well and realize that I probably won't have access to my regular medicine given a failure. Therefore, I did extend research about medicinal herbs and I've begun growing them. There's a lot of info on this subject on the internet, so do your homework, but it might help in the future. When pain is overwhelming, some wild lettuce tea might help get you through the next task of the day. So wild lettuce is a very well-known, it's a natural medicinal plant. It just grows. There's plenty of herbalists and natural medicine doctors who can help you with this. I would just have to say for the channel, for YouTube, and for just generally helping people, because I know without a doubt that wild lettuce can interact with some existing medication. So if you have somebody, man, I guess the ant got me because I was too sweet. If you know somebody who is on an existing medication, whether it's a heart medication, whether it is an existing pain medication, and they start taking wild lettuce, there's a chance they're going to have a counter interaction if something bad happens. So make sure they talk with their doctor. I'm not a medical doctor. The person who wrote this isn't. Make sure that they talk with their doctor first and see if that's an option for them. Tammy Van Winkle says, I need tires and I can barely afford food. I can't afford an increase. Again, talking about food inflation. I'm resourceful but alone. How are others like me going to last when things get harder? I guess I'll have to pull those bootstraps up harder. Godspeed, my friends. You're going to do it. Don't worry. The people, you know who survived the Syrian civil war? It wasn't the guys in the bunkers. Sure, they might have. It wasn't the people in positions of extreme wealth. Sure, some might have. It was the people who had fortitude, who had constitution, who had a willingness to do what was necessary to get through that very day and work on the next one. So take every advantage that you can and prep a little bit for that next day. Judy Luthi says, Meetup, talking about meetups, Meetup contacted them to coordinate a group. Is that a good idea? Make sure that you vet your sources. Make sure that you think about entrapment and things like that, and never get yourself into a position where you find yourself having to combat problems. Sylvia Maresca says, does anyone know how much putting a hand pump, how much it costs, I imagine she means, to put a hand pump well in, considering it's a backup to my electricity powered well? Yeah, so we put a hand pump well and we had to go down 300 and some feet with a hand pump well. So you were looking in the couple of thousands of dollars. And if you have 200-foot well, if you have a 100-foot well, if you have a 60-foot well, you're in a much better position. Just look at all of your options and see if the hand pump is the right one for you. Robin Prater says, question, what happens when we don't have the money to pay the house payment because no one is working? So Russia right now, look at what happened to them. They are deciding who they pay, what they pay, and how they pay them. If they do it and others catch on, there's nothing the big guys can do about it. There's nothing the USA, there's nothing the IMF, there's nothing the central banks, nothing anything anyone can do about it. And the same thing goes for your house payment. If you can't pay your payment and your neighbor can't, and your 16 other neighbors and everyone in the apartment and everyone on your street and no one in your city can pay their rent, they're not going to do anything about it because there's just too much to handle. Yeah, they're going to just rack up those numbers on your bill of how much you owe, but they're not going to do anything about it. So that's kind of the idea. And look at what happened, during previous financial crisis events. That's similarly what happened there. So just know everyone has to not do it for it to not affect you. If you're the first guy not paying your bill, lease breakage and foreclosures are coming right at you. Denise says, will the food in your freezer and fridge be safe to eat if a nuclear disaster hits the States? Disaster Helper, thanks, great username there, says, unless you're really close, yes, your fridge will act or should act as a shielding and the seals on the fridge will keep contaminated fallout out. The only thing that contaminated food is you. That will be contaminated is you. Wash your hands before getting your food out. Remember, if you do have fallout, just use Dawn soap and water and get it off. But think about where the water is draining to, where that radiation is now. Because just because you wash off the dust, that dust that's sitting on the ground, the dust that rinses into the water behind, that's forever for just years, blowing off little bullets of invisible radiation that is literally affecting and killing the DNA of everything around it. So just watch out for that. Sure, life finds a way, as Ian Malcolm says in Jurassic.
All right, give it all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Abashah, double honor to the apostle and brothers and GMS, double honor to the elect. So as you see, the time that we are coming into some great evil times. Some great evil times. Let me see if I can get some scripture. Let's go to Ezekiel. Let me see. I'm trying to see. I'm trying to get. Okay. Chapter 6. Yeah, okay. Ezekiel chapter 6 verse 1. And the word of the Lord came to me and say, Son of man, set thy face towards the mountain of Israel and prophesy against them, and say, You mountain of Israel, hear the word of the Lord. A power that said the Lord, a power to it, to the mountain, and to the hill, to the river, and to the valley. Behold, even I will bring a sword upon you, and I will destroy your high places, and your altars shall be desolate, and your image shall be broken. And when I cast down your yes, yeah, I will cast down your slain man before your idols, and I will lay the dead carcass of the children of Israel before the idols, and I will scatter your bones around about your altar, yeah. And all your dwelling place, the city shall be laid wasted, and the high places shall be desolate, that your altars may be laid wasted and made desolate, and your idols may be broken, and the call of your image may be cut down, and your works may be restored. Verse 6, and the slain shall fall in the midst of you, and you should know that I am the Lord, right? You should know that I am the Lord. Verse 9, and that escape of you shall remain among, like remember me among the nations, where there should be carried captivity, because I have broke with the heart, which they have to depart from me, and with their eyes, which go hardness, and their items, and they shall look themselves for the evil which they had committed in all their abomination. Verse 10, and they shall know that I am the Lord, and that I have not said in vain that I would do this evil unto them. Read that again. Ezekiel chapter 6, verse 9, and they shall know that I am the Lord, Yahweh, and that I have not said in vain that I would do this evil unto them. Thou said the Lord, my power will smite them. I will smite. Hold on. Yeah, I will smite their hands and stamp their foot, and say, Alas, for all the evil abomination of the house of Israel, for they shall fall by the sword, by the famine, and by pestilence. He that afar off shall die of the pestilence, and he that is near shall fall by the sword, and he that remain and besieged shall die by the famine, that I will accomplish this my fury upon them. Verse 13, thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh. When thy slain man should be among them, idols around about the arches upon every high hill, and all the tops of the mountains, under every green tree, and under every thick oaks, the place where they did offer sweet savor to all their items. Verse 14, so I will stretch out my hand upon them, and I will make land desolate, more desolate than the wilderness, towards the and the inhabit, and they that like them, and that shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh Bashem. Let's go to Ezekiel. Get that right. Chapter 7, verse 25. Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 25. Moreover, the word of the Lord came to me and say, also, of son of man, thou said the Lord, a power unto the land of Israel, an end, and an end is coming upon them, upon the four corners of the land. Now is the end. It's like now is the end coming upon thee, and I will set my anger upon thee, and I will judge according to thy ways, and I will accomplish, I will recompense upon thee all thy abomination. Right, all thy abomination. Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 3. Now is the end coming upon thee, and I will set my anger upon thee, and I will judge thee according to thy ways, and will I recompense upon thee all thy abomination. My eyes shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee, and thy abomination shall be in the midst of thee, and you shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh Bashem. Thou said the Lord, a power evil, only evil, behold, is coming, right? Only evil, behold, is coming. Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 5. Thou said the Lord, a power and evil, and only evil, behold, is coming, and the end is coming. The end is coming, and watch for thee. Behold, it is coming. Right, it's coming. Skip down. Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 14. They had blow the trumpet, even to make all ready, but none go to the battle, for my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 14 again. They had blow the trumpet, even to make all ready, but none go to the battle, for my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. The sword without and weekend. The sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine, which he that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him. Right. And we get again. Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 15. The sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him. Verse 16. But they that escape of them shall escape, and shall be one on the mountain, like at the wall of the valley, all the morning, every one of his iniquity. All hands shall be feeble, and all knees shall be weak as water. As water. Let's move on. Let's go to Ezekiel 7, verse 25. No, read verse 20, 25. Yeah. Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 25. Destruction is coming, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. Right, they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 25. Destruction is coming, and there shall seek peace, and there shall be none. Mistress shall come upon mistress, and rumors shall be upon rumor. They shall seek a vision of the prophet, but the law shall perish from the priest, and the counsel from the ancients. The king shall mourn, and the princes shall be clothed with desolate, and the hands of the people of the land shall be troubled. And I will do unto them thereafter the ways according to thy desire. What desire? Desert. I will judge them, and they shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh. Right. Let me see. Try to get one. Let me see if I get one. No. I'm gonna go right to get a couple of this. Matthew 24, verse 21. Matthew 24, verse 21. But pray, no, I'm reading for 21. For there should be great tribulation, so is not seen the beginning of this world to this time, never ever shall be. Right, it's gonna be great tribulation was not seen. From Matthew chapter 24, verse 21. Now I'm read verse 20. But pray you that your flight be not in winter, nor on the Sabbath day. Verse 21. For there should be great tribulation, so was not seen the beginning of this world to this time, never ever shall be. Verse 22. Except those days to be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be short. Right, for the elect's sake, those days should be short. All right, all right, Joel, chapter 2, verse 10. Let's go to Joel chapter 2, verse 7. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the walls like men of war. They shall march everyone in his ways, and they shall not break their rank. Neither shall one through another shall walk everyone in his paths. If they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. They shall run to in and fro into the city. They should run upon the wall. They should come up upon the house. They should enter at the window like a thief. Verse 10. The earth shall quake before thee. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be darkness, and the stars shall withdraw thy shine. Verse 11. And the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great, for he is strong to execute his word, for the day of the Lord is great and very terrible. Who can abide it? Right? Who can abide it, man? Who can abide it, man? Joel chapter 2, verse 11. And the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great, for he is strong that execute his word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible. Who can abide it? Right? Who can abide it? Let's go to Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 18. What did it say? The day of judgment on Judah. Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 18. Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 18. Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 18. Neither the silver, neither the gold should be able to deliver them in the day of. Hold on, again. Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 18. Neither the silver nor the gold should be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land should be devoured by fire of his jealousy. For he should make every speedy render of all them that dwell in the land. I think I want to read. Yeah, it goes Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 17. And I will bring distress upon man. They shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord. and their blood should be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dove. Verse 18, neither their silver nor their gold should be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land should be devoured by fire of his jealousy, for he shall make every speedy render for all them that dwell in the land. Let's go to Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourself together, O you good. Gather yourself together. Gather together, O you nation, not desire, before the decree bring forth, before the day pass, as a child before the fury of the anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord anger come upon you. Seek you the Lord, all the meek of the earth, which have brought his judgment. Seek righteousness and seek meekness. It may be you should be hid in the day of the Lord's anger. Right? You should be hidden, or you maybe should be hid in the day of the Lord. And again, Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1 again, it said, gather yourself together. Yet gather together, O you nation, not desire, before the decree bring forth, before the day pass, as the chaff before the fury anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shah, anger come upon you. Seek you the Lord, all the meek of the earth, which have brought his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be you shall be hidden the day of the Lord's anger. Right, be hidden the day of the Lord's anger. Zephaniah, no, I said Zephaniah. 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 5. Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. Right? We got again. 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 5. Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness have acidity pollute the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore saith the Lord. In verse 14, woe unto the world, and they that dwell in them, for the sword and their destruction draw not, and one people should stand up and fight against another, and a sword in their hand. Verse 16, they should be seduction among men, invading one another. They should not regard their kings nor princes, or cause of their actions should stand in the power. Verse 17, a man should desire to go into the city, and should not be able. For because of the proud, the city should be troubled, the house should be destroyed, and the man should be afraid. Verse 19, a man should have no pity upon his neighbor, but he should destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their good because of the lack of bread and great tribulation. Right? Great tribulation. Let me see what else I got. I think that should be it on that one. Let me see what else I get. So yeah, so you see, man, hey man, seek you the Lord while he may be found. I'm about to close out with that though. So yeah, man, you see, great tribulation. Man. I'm gonna close it out right there though. So giving all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, by Shema Shah. Double honor to Apostle Brother G and Master. Shalom to the flesh. Shalom.